Hello guys, welcome back to Headlines. I'm Zoe. It's September and a season of Virgo. Anyone who knows a bit about horoscopes wouldn't be strange to the term Mercury retrograde. 但凡了解一些星座的人呢，一定会知道水逆这个词。So when things don't go smoothly, people tend to impute the blame to 水逆. So today, National Geographic is going to give us a brief introduction to Mercury retrograde from the perspectives of the history, astronomy, and astrology. 那今天的内容来自于国家地理。我们来从历史、天文、占星的角度上了解一下水逆。From a fight with spouse to newly broken part in your car, the planet closest to the sun is often blamed for life's misfortunes, big and small. You may hear responsibility placed on Mercury retrograde, referring to how the planet appears to move backward in his march across our sky for a few weeks about every 4 months. This season, it'll occur from August 23rd to September 14th. The apparent backward movement of Mercury is an actual astronomical phenomenon, but its connection to happening on Earth is largely refuted as pseudoscience. Still, the idea that Mercury holds power over our communication is popular in the West. Refute is to prove false. 反驳, say Mexican scientists refute U.S. Canadian claims of genetically modified corn safety. Pseudoscience, 伪科学, the prefix pseudo is from Greek, meaning false. Aside from pseudoscience, there are pseudo-intellectual, 假博学, pseudo-classic, 假古典。那么水逆是一种天文现象，但它反映到占星学上会被广泛的反驳为是伪科学。在西方文化中，水星依然是掌管沟通的星球。What happens during Mercury retrograde? Mercury isn't actually moving backward in his orbit around the sun. Retrograde motion is the optical illusion caused by all the planets moving at different speeds from one another. Optical illusion, 视觉的错觉. Optical is related to light and vision, say optical effects, 光学效应. Look at this image. How many animals could you spot in the optical illusion challenge? 水逆是由水星移动速度快导致的一种视觉错觉. So I'll put up a clip in case you don't get what Mercury retrograde is.
This line shows our view of Mercury against the background stars. As Mercury passes us by, our line of sight shifts so that for about 3 weeks, Mercury will appear to loop back on itself when viewed from Earth. It's simply a function of two objects orbiting in the same direction at different speeds. If you stood on Mercury, you would see Earth make an apparent loop too.
Mercury retrograde was probably first documented by Babylonian astronomers around the 7th century BC. We do know the Babylonian name for the planet Mercury means something like the jumpy one. It is a planet that jumps back and forth. It's of course a facet planet, and there is some squirkiness about Mercury in the sky, sometimes mercurial. Jumpy is anxious and unsettled, 焦虑不安分的.
Always ask me, what martial arts style you want this? But to me, it doesn't matter, right? To me, it's how this person reacts, it's how this character reacts. Is it a little bit jumpy? Is it a little bit calm? Is it a little bit like, for example?
Quirk 学过了，古怪的. Mercurial is an adjective of Mercury. Something mercurial is unpredictable and volatile, 多变的. Say a mercurial temperament, 多变的性格, or a mercurial Portugal facing uphill task at World Cup. 发挥不够稳定的葡萄牙队. The idea that positions and motions of celestial bodies could predict the fates of a nation, a ruler, a harvest, or an event endured into medieval Europe. Mercury in retrograde was believed to impede such endeavors, as well as these astrologers' divinations. I suppose that most of you have recognized endure as undergo, say endure unhappiness, pain, or hardship, but it could also mean long-lasting. Say Shakespeare's plays have endured for centuries. Impede 也学过了 is to stop or slow down. Deviation 学过了，占卜。Astrology became popular in Europe as early as the 12th century and drew more enthusiasts after the mechanical printing press was invented in 1439. But things started to change with a few centuries, likely due to a combination of political, cultural, and scientific factors, such as Nicholas Copernicus proposed that our planetary system centered around the sun, and English civil wars in the mid-16th century. 那地心说的发现，英国的革命、理性时代的到来呢，让占星术衰落下去。 Horoscope astrology began to resurface around the 1920s, with regular newspaper columns describing predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. But the popularity of the concept of Mercury retrograde has been a more recent trend. Retrograde is a concept outside the zodiac signs, so it can appeal to people who are new to astrology. It's adjacent to everyone's experience. No one's left out of the conversation. 现代12星座的说法呢，是在1920年左右才流行起来的。Adjacent to is next to. The synonyms are adjoining, abut on, and in the vicinity of. You know, the reason I like articles from National Geographic so much is that they are written in straightforward English, and you don't get stuck by uncommon words and complex sentences. So you might as well relax and soak up in knowledge. This is Headlines. I'll see you in the next episode.